The night he found them, the snow was falling like ash from a burned-out world, and his stomach was already empty enough to hurt, but what stopped him cold was the sight of two tiny shapes clinging to a woman whose eyes had given up asking for help. The struggling single dad did not know it yet, but the choice he made in that frozen alley would set off a miracle that would change more lives than his own. Before the story goes any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of doing the right thing when no one is watching, please like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to channel name. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Ethan Walker had learned how to survive by counting small victories. A full tank of gas that lasted the week. A box of day-old bread from the bakery that did not ask questions. His son asleep without crying from hunger. Since his wife's passing 3 years earlier, life had shrunk into a narrow tunnel of work, worry, and exhaustion. He worked nights at a warehouse and days repairing old appliances for neighbors who could not afford new ones, all while raising 6-year-old Noah alone. Every dollar had a job before it ever reached his hands, and some days, even that was not enough. Still, Ethan carried himself with a quiet dignity, the kind that comes from knowing you are doing everything you can, even when the world keeps pushing back. That night, Ethan had just finished a late delivery. The heater in his old truck barely worked, and the cold bit through his jacket as he cut through the alley to save time. He was thinking about the can of soup waiting at home, wondering if he should pretend not to be hungry so Noah could have more. That was when he saw the woman slumped against the brick wall, her arms wrapped around two little girls who looked no older than 4. Their faces were pale, their lips dry, their bodies trembling not just from the cold but from something deeper. Hunger has a look to it, a hollow stillness that no blanket can fix, and Ethan recognized it instantly. The woman tried to straighten when she noticed him, pride fighting desperation, but her strength failed her. The twins did not cry. That was what frightened him most. Children who have energy cry. These children were past that. Ethan felt fear rise in his chest, not just for them, but for himself. He had nothing to give. No extra money. No food to spare. He was barely holding his own life together with frayed rope and stubborn hope. Yet something in him moved before logic could stop it. He took off his jacket and wrapped it around the girls, feeling the shock of their icy skin through the thin fabric. He guided them to his truck, every step heavy with doubt. He told himself he would just get them warm, maybe call someone, maybe find a shelter. He told himself many things to quiet the voice that said he was about to make his own life harder than it already was. When he opened the door of his small apartment later, the reality hit him hard. One room, one couch, one pot of soup. Noah stirred in his sleep as the cold air rushed in. The woman's eyes filled with tears at the sight of the simple space, as if it were a palace compared to the street. Ethan heated the soup and divided it into 4 bowls, then hesitated before splitting his own portion in half. He told himself hunger would pass, that pride was a luxury he could not afford. The twins ate slowly at first, then with quiet urgency, their small hands shaking. The woman watched them with a mixture of relief and guilt so deep it looked like pain. As the warmth returned to their faces, Ethan felt something else return to his own chest, a fragile sense of purpose that had been buried under months of survival mode. Over the next days, the situation grew heavier. The woman, Maria, had fled an abusive situation with her daughters, Lily and Rose, after losing her job and her home in the same month. Shelters were full. Family was far away or unwilling. Pride and fear had kept her silent until hunger forced her into the open. Ethan listened without judgment, because he knew how fast life could collapse when you lost one pillar too many. He let them stay, telling himself it would only be temporary, that he would find help soon. Each day, he worked longer hours. Each night, he slept less. Bills stacked up like warnings he could not answer. The miracle did not arrive with trumpets or sudden wealth. It came quietly, carried by small, human moments. Noah shared his toys without being asked. The twins laughed for the first time in days. Maria cleaned and cooked and tried to give back in ways that cost nothing but effort. One afternoon, while fixing a neighbor's broken heater, Ethan mentioned in passing that he had been taking in extra repair jobs. The neighbor, an older man with a kind face, told a friend. That friend told another. Word spread, not fast, but steadily, about a man who worked hard and never overcharged, a man who helped because he knew what it meant to need help. Soon, Ethan's phone started ringing more often. Old appliances that others would have thrown away came back to life under his hands. People paid him what they could, sometimes more, sometimes less, but always with gratitude. Maria found part-time work at a local diner when the owner noticed how gently she handled the twins during a meal break. The money was small, but it was something. More importantly, it was dignity. The apartment grew warmer, not because of heat, but because of shared purpose. Then came the setback that nearly broke him. The warehouse cut his hours without warning. The thin line he walked snapped, and panic returned full force. One night, after everyone else was asleep, Ethan sat at the table staring at overdue notices, his hands shaking. He wondered if kindness had been a mistake, if saving others had doomed his own child. Guilt pressed down on him until it was hard to breathe. Yet even in that moment, he did not regret stopping in the alley. He regretted only that the world made compassion feel like a risk. The turning point arrived through a letter slipped under the door. A local community group had heard about his work and his situation. They offered him a small grant to start a legitimate repair service, along with donated tools and a workspace. Someone had nominated him anonymously, writing about a man who rescued a family while barely surviving himself. Ethan read the letter again and again, tears blurring the words. He did not know who had seen him, who had decided his quiet struggle mattered, but for the first time in years, he felt truly seen. With the grant came momentum. More clients. Steadier income. Maria moved into a small subsidized apartment nearby with the twins, close enough that the children still ran to Ethan's door after school. Life did not become perfect. It became possible. Ethan still worked hard. He still worried. But the weight was shared now, spread across a network of people who had chosen to care. Near the end of winter, Ethan stood watching Lily and Rose build a snowman with Noah, their laughter cutting through the cold air. He thought back to that alley, to the moment he almost walked past. He realized the miracle was not money or opportunity alone. It was the chain reaction of kindness, the way one act could ripple outward, touching lives in ways you could never predict. If this story has touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to like the video, share it, and subscribe to channel. Name. Your engagement helps these real, human stories reach others who need hope. Before we end, I have a special request. Please comment below and tell us what kindness means to you, or share a moment when someone helped you without expecting anything in return. Your words might be the encouragement someone else needs today. Ethan never became famous. He never made headlines. But every time he passed that alley, he slowed down, not with fear, but with gratitude. He had learned that miracles are not always loud. Sometimes, they look like a man giving away his last bowl of soup, and discovering that the world, when given the chance, knows how to give back.